Welcome. I'm Natalie Moss. Let's clear the space. Lit my candle here, and we've created a container, calling in all guides, ancestors, past, present, future, higher selves, connecting to our innermost source light, seeking guidance of essential information to help us navigate this particular time. I was getting messages and I was supported to come to you with this message tonight. Actually watching an old year-long video from 13 Moon Tarot, who I am a long-time watcher of 13 Moon Tarot. And it was a reading that I remember from a year ago, and from watching it a year ago. It was a general reading. And it really sat for me. I did make notes of what she said. It was really hitting chords for me in terms of you have the right to help people and to heal people because you've earned it. That was really like sitting with me. I love reading tarot. I love helping people with their energy and circumstances and situations and giving them, you know, tips and insights on how to listen to themselves and you know, follow their dharma and their path. And I feel like this comes from the experience myself of having the double pathway, so to speak, where the parallel pathway of being someone who does live very authentically, joyously, with a strong set of convictions and values, and still, because that can come alongside of a big heart and wishing the best and an eternal positivity and optimism, we can, and also the understanding energetics and esoterics and the vastness of interactions and mechanics and psychology. It can also, it can be quite a combination of something that leads me back into circumstances and situations where I'm really giving people too much credit. I'm giving people too much time. I'm giving people too much benefit of the doubt that they really may not deserve. And or then maybe they do deserve it, who am I to say? But there comes a time when you've sort of overflown or overgiven, and it takes a lot of will and focus and commitment and conviction to coming back into devotion to self, and pulling away from those circumstances or situations which tend to have wound the tendrils in, and you feel like it activates mothering energy, it activates healer energy, it activates that priestess wound of wanting to help people heal and have deep understanding and awareness for their situations and circumstances in life. We've got the Two of Swords. So there could be this indecision over a current circumstance or situation where you're not exactly sure which way to go, which way to choose. So there could be some confusion here. You're not sure whether you want to break away or you want to keep diving into a certain situation, circumstance. So you're kind of pulling back at the moment and going within to say, which way do I want to turn? So this is a great point for this whole message I'm bringing to you today. Then I went on to write some of my own notes before starting the reading, and what I'm getting is there's a real new opening, and there's a new energy, and there's new access right now currently. So it could be with all of the Aries transits, with all of the transiting conjunctions in Aries at the moment. I won't have to name all of the planets, but if you're into astrology, there is a lot of this activating energy at the moment that we might feel like we need to get up and do. It's a great energy to, well, like it is today, like just pick up and do this reading suddenly in the evening. I never do readings in the evening, but I'm wishing that I wanted to do them in the evening, because there's a whole evening of the day that I'm not utilizing as much. So Queen of Swords coming out, so very decisive. She's clean with her cuts. There's no jagged edges here. She is slicing off what no longer serves us going forward. So 2 swords coming out straight away. So we are in our mental, and it's this 2 of Swords of, will I move into this very definitive energy? Will I drop the sword swiftly? And with this new energy and this new opening, a new page, it's looking at what are we needing to move away from? What is it that we need to separate from? What is it that we need a clean cut from? And this is talking about the energies that can play games and can manipulate. It can be contradictory and confusing. So this is about head games where, you know, as people potentially that want to see various paths or see how there could be different opportunities or different strategies to approach, it's about being able to stand by our own convictions as well. So what else have I written here? We need to be able to, we need to be sharp to the patterns. That's what I've written. We need to be sharp to the patterns, and see where other people are repeatedly undermining us, repeatedly leaving us feeling disrespected, repeatedly ignoring what we're saying, just skipping right over it without any acknowledgement. That can get very confusing. And you're like, why aren't we addressing this thing? You may want to be direct, you may want to get clarity and ask questions because you're really trying to get to the bottom of something, but they're twisting it around in circles. You can't really get any straight answers. You're one way, then you're another way. You're thrown under the bus, and then you're exalted in, you know, sort of hitting those wounds or those pain points where someone is giving you validation, or they're acknowledging you for your value, and you're feeling valued and selected and picked. But on the other hand, they're kind of actually breaking you down and making you feel like, or trying to make you feel, you're getting ahead of it and you're staying above it, but they are actually trying to break down your resilience and your ability to know what is good for you, know what is right for you, know what your needs are, right? So what came out of the 13 Moon Tarot reading was that you have the right to defend your position. And what happens when you do defend your position, whether that's through conflict and friction, or whether it's just through, you know, fairly stated even boundaries, or fairly stated needs, you do need to be willing to let the things that don't meet those expectations fall away, and to not chase after them and try to say, oh, okay, well, I'll try it this other way, or I'll compromise this other way. And I'm not saying that we want to be rigid in our thinking. This is not about being rigid and inflexible and unmovable. I think compromise and collaboration and connection and did I say compromise? You know, this is all great stuff for healthy relationships. But what I'm talking about here is where having your position or thoughts constantly invalidated, unacknowledged, and feeling like you have to make all of the moves, you have to make all of the compromises in order to really sustain something. So potentially it's actually just not worth being in your life. And I know for myself, I can get caught up in, well, is it my, is this for me to be triggered by in order to do healing in that area? And I think absolutely yes. I think that is a true and valid perspective. 8 of Pentacles. You also need to know when it's time to move on from that challenge. That, like, when is it enough? When have you done enough? because we can end up feeling in a cycle of constant wanting or needing to be healing in the process of, or uncovering things in the process of, and you're kicking up dust and you're kicking up dust and you're facing things head on. And you know, I've had so many deep epiphanies based on my own challenging circumstances, and there comes a time when you graduate from that and you don't need to see it 1,000 different ways. You don't need to continue to uncover like these pockets of yourself that you find through pure frustration. So with the Eight of Pentacles coming out, this is mastery. So we're really mastering a task or a technique or a project. So it's, you know, are our relationships supporting this? Are our relationships supporting the work that we're here to do? Supporting our dharma, supporting our joy, supporting what we are nourished by, what brings us financial stability, where we put our attention to. Are those relationships really feeding into that? Are they supporting that, or are they beginning to undermine your operations? Let's see, what else did I write here? Yeah, so it's about drawing the line, standing your ground, standing on business. Bieber and Coachella. I actually very much enjoyed it, by the way. Not from a defensive or even from an offensive. This is just a life glow essence I wrote. It's a life glow essence grounded in personal truth, grounded in what is true for you. Here we are. Six of Cups. So this could be karmic connections. Karmic connections are very difficult to unpick or undo. Maybe it can be that, you know, we've had some penance to pay, some reason that things haven't been as balanced as we wanted them to be. We wanted them to be balancing, and maybe they won't. Maybe there was someone that had more power, more emotional power. Maybe you've got more emotional power, even if you feel like you are technically overwhelmed or feeling a bit manipulated by someone else. You may actually have the greater amount of power, and often that's how it works, because when you have the greater amount of emotional intelligence and emotional power, you don't need to go around playing games, lying, manipulating, deceiving. You stayed clear, clean, and above it all. And so other people come along and they harvest that. It's attractive. And they'll have you think it's not. And they'll try to convince you that, you know, you're the one with problems. But you have to stand your ground. You have to get standing on your business. And I think that's why tribal support is so necessary. It's so necessary to be able to talk to people about your situations and your circumstances and your relationships and get feedback. And you also need to make the choices yourself. So it's no good to tell everybody what's happening. They're telling you exactly what to do. You don't feel like it's the right timing to, you're hearing what they're saying. Maybe the timing hasn't aligned yet. You shouldn't feel pressured by anyone at all around you anytime to make choices or decisions that you don't want to make or aren't ready to make. So this is really, you're listening to people that say this is your choice to make. And you've got to be careful with that as well, because there can be some traps in that sense. But you know, in your you know how your body responds, and does it feel like it has to close and retreat, or does it feel like it can open up? And this is judgment. This is an inner calling. This is that we've run the life, we've run the game, and there is a call being made that says, this is the outcome of to date, what has happened. This is the summation of the life. This is what we get out of what we've put in. And here we have, there's a jumble. So look at them all. Top of it was the Tower, and the Tower was a big message for me today when I was doing a reading for myself, and I was asking, what do I help people with? What can I help people with? And I had the Tower card, so but the Tower card was telling me that what I'm helping people with is this Tower moment in their lives. So this is where they're having a whole overhaul of an ego death. They're getting chucked out of the Tower. And this could be, you know, because I do interior design as well. So it could be physically in a true home situation where a relationship's failing, you're getting kicked out of the house you've been living in, or your home life is ruptured, or there is something going on in that house area there where you're living, or it's those real close quarter networks and connections which are sort of causing all of this upheaval. This could be to do with triggering events within relationships which are kind of catapulting you, or being the catalyst to you making big internal shifts and changes and deciding to choose yourself. The Tower moment is actually so exciting because there's just an opportunity to rebuild. We have a bit of brutalness here. The Five of Pentacles, this also came out in an earlier reading today. I will also shout out, I'm using the Modern Witch Tarot deck by Lisa Steele. So the Five of Pentacles, we're being left out in the cold financially. So there could be some, particularly if you're sharing a house with somebody, you're living with somebody and you can't live with them anymore, or there's some issue to do with the housing or the financial support that you're getting, that can really feel like a big inhibiting factor to leaving a situation when we're feeling manipulated and confused. The thing with the Five of Pentacles, which I enjoyed today in another deck that I was looking at, is that it's an opportunity, even though you're cast out of sort of this material possession realm, and you can now look at what is available and abundant as things are stripped back to the raw nature, which is now in this card it's depicted with snow. They do look a bit bundled up. But if we can sort of change a perspective on this, they're actually quite rugged up. So there's a coziness here. They're together on the outside. The snow could be refreshing. And if you think of other natural settings, like I love to be under the moon and the stars on a beautiful clear night. I love to be out by the trees or by the ocean, or where I can see a mountain or be on a mountain. These are all things for free. You can go there anytime you want. You can walk out a door and find grass, find a ground, plant a tree. And these are things you can sit by a stream, you can sit by a lake. And if you can come into a centeredness and acceptance with yourself, then this can be a real blissful experience when things of material value can get cluttered up around us, and we really just want to strip it all back. So as well, I deal with this with interior design, in making spaces that are very connected to outside spaces and very connected to the outside world. So we're not wanting lots of tchotchkes or lots of busyness or lots of synthetics. All of that is stripped back into how are we engaging with the outside world, and how are we really showcasing that outside world. In that little pile was also the Eight of Swords, so we can be feeling quite bound in by this manipulative energy that's around us. We're having to use our intuition and our inner insights and really figure out how to trust ourselves in this situation. So she can't really see what's going on around her accurately. She's bound up, and we have the 10 of Pentacles at the bottom. So the way out is through. Also, a stranger in the street talked to me today, and I was sitting on the side of the road crying because I'd had a series of bad things happen this week, last week, and then into this week. And then today I had a series, like I had, you know, a rough conversation, and then yeah, then I got pulled over by the police, and I didn't get a ticket. I wasn't doing anything overly wrong. It was driving through a roundabout a little bit too fast. Mind you, this is Australia, and it was a 40k roundabout, and I was going a little bit fast. It was a temporary roundabout. These are my excuses. A temporary roundabout. I didn't see it coming. I should see it coming, but I was a bit stressed because I just had a stressful conversation. Anyway, that being said, all good, we're okay. But I cried on the side of the road. I got out of my car and I sat there, and I was just like, I was just really like, I just got hit, right, with all of the things. And there was a man standing there, and he came, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yes, I'm all right. I'm all right." Oh, not like yes. I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm okay." And he was like, "What's happened, Chariot?" He's like, "Did you get booked?" And I'm like, no, it's all good. Like, he was just giving me a little heads up, a little warning. And which never happens, mind you. So I was actually being looked at after in that moment. And I really felt this man, like an angelic presence as well, come over to be like, "Are you okay?" It was really, really sweet. And I was telling him about the roundabout. I'd gone a bit too fast, and he's like, "Sometimes you got to go through the roundabout, not around the roundabout." And it was just a little bit funny, but like, that's what it is. We've got to go through the roundabout. We've got to go through it, and the pathway through it, the pathway through the tower, the pathway being cast out financially, feeling like bound, like we don't know how to move. These are self-imposed thoughts. So this is not quite the nighttime anxiety of the Nine of Swords, but it is feeling quite bound by maybe preconceived ideas of what success is, preconceived ideas of what is expected of us, how things might look. They don't look terribly good, but there's a way out. The story progresses. And we do have 10 of Pentacles on the other side. And the 10 of Pentacles is looking at that culmination energy. We will find those resources again. We will get to the top of the game again. And we will be able to recover from this. Actually, yeah, we go from the 8 here to the 10. So it is that thing that we're mastering, that thing that has been calling us our whole life, the thing that we keep getting drawn back into. This is the thing that's building and building and building, and you stick with it, and you stick with it, and you endure the tower moments. You endure everything rupturing around you to realize like that they're your own entrapments, they're your own preconceived considerations. But the 10 of Pentacles is right on the other side, inviting you to keep going, keep going. It is there. And the Chariot is about that alignment of the dark and the light. We're pulling along, and we're waiting for that ideal divine moment where everything synergizes and we have that spark of illumination, and we're able to break through a portal. So the Chariot is a travel vessel, and it's traveling. We're moving along. The Chariot's moving fast. Everything's on board. We're all packed up. It's go, go, go. And we're just waiting to hit that perfect stride. And then the portal opens and we zip through the portal. We've got the Knight of Cups here. And so the feeling I have with the Knight of Cups is linked to to the energy of potentially the source of some manipulation or head games. Because the Knight of Cups is trying to say one thing about being compassionate or caring. It's the Knight of Cups is saying that they really want to be caring, but the Knight is not really stabilized at this point. The Knight is working towards growing into a stable situation, but perhaps they're not quite there yet. And I have the 10 of Cups coming out there. So there's a message with the Knight of Cups. They're saying that the 10 of Cups is there. They're saying, this is what I'm working towards. This is, you know, the compassionate nature. This is the compassionate, caring, loving life that we can have, which is why it's actually very difficult, because it's a beautiful thing to want to aspire to. But the 10 of Wands, it's a burden. What it really is too much hard work. What they're saying it is the 10 of Cups, but what it really is and feels like is the 10 of Wands. And the Knight of Cups is gonna say what they want at the moment. And it puts you back in that 2 of Swords energy. Well, what do I do? Because I really want that 10 of Cups. But it's the world. So the world is a culmination, it's a completion. And where there's a completion, there's a new beginning. The world is your oyster. There's every opportunity out there to, the 10 of Cups is not limited to one particular pathway. I think this came up in the 13 moon reading as well, that, you know, there are multiple pathways available. And there's, you know, the infiniteness of possibilities and potentials. So it's having faith in and to stand your own ground, to stand by the work that you do and the relationships which support that work. They don't throw you out in the cold. 5 of Pentacles. They're not going to turn their back on you. It's not going to feel like 10 of Wands energy. It's going to be fair, evenly distributed. Can I be guided for any final? Six of Wands, 3 of Wands, 6 of Wands. So there's a victory here and something coming in over the horizon. She's looking out over there. It's a ship. I wrote a song about this. Resonance. The ship comes in and it feels resonant. And when someone or something you feel resonant with it, it's resonance, you know it's for you. You won't have this 10 of Wands concern. You're not going to feel afraid. It's going to be free of fear. And there's a victory in that. So there's a victory coming with that. Let's do an oracle card. We'll do the wildflowers. We'll do Australian wildflowers. I like adding an oracle card. Just something that feels a little bit light and pure. These are beautiful cards by Sherilyn Darcy. Which one is going to come out? Sometimes I just shuffle too good. There it is. Lemon myrtle, space. Space. So you need space. And this makes a lot of sense Because when you have an energy which is trying to coerce you, it's not going to want you to have space. It's going to want to keep you close. It's because it's not going to want you to feel what it feels like to be free of the confusion. Because as soon as you untangle from that state of confusion, you start to realize, actually, I feel pretty good. Then you won't bend over backwards. There is a need for space, distance, wandering, opening up, travel, and in general creating space right now. Perhaps this is between you and something else. Perhaps you just need to explore your opportunities a bit further. New possibilities are indicated, but they are out there. Lemon myrtle is most definitely connected with new starts, with cleansing and fresh thinking. It's also an indication of a deeper understanding of your own beliefs. You need to take into account the connection between the higher energies you may seek and what is below them. Open up and let the light in as the time for darkness is passing. The challenge is being too open or trusting, or retreating too early. The healing energy supports cleansing, protection, and assists with travel fears. Did I not say? Did I not say? It is about timing. So sometimes you need to get the space first to make your decision at the right time. So you don't want to pull out too early, because you are gaining insights. You're gathering insights into your own triggers, wounds, activations, pathway, dharma. All of this is serving you. All of our interactions serve us. So all of our interactions, good, bad, light, dark, triggering, easy, whatever, they're all somehow here serving our greatest good. And we should be grateful for each and every one of those connections that's come into our lives. So while I'm talking about this energy of manipulation, I also do want to specify that that doesn't mean that you have to, hate or be vindictive or spiteful or take any type of aggression or anger out on another person. Thank them for their role in your life, truly, with an open heart. Thank them for their role in your life, and also you can let it go. You can thank them for the time that you shared. You thank them for the experiences that you had. You thank them for the growth and the opportunities. But you need space, and you need to look for those opportunities that are coming for you. It's a new cycle. We're closing something out. You've completed the cycle. And this is the no fears for what's coming over the horizon from what's coming in. And it can only find you if you have that space. So thank you very much. Thank you for sticking with me. Please look at or check out my website, sunbakerstudio.com.au. That's where I've got my interior design business. Please sign up for my Alchemical Creatives newsletter, which will be kicking off pretty soon when I get a new laptop, because my one's broken, which is part of the bad week that I've had. That being said, have a beautiful evening. My name's Natalie Moss. Thank you so much.